That's a disgrace for instant replay. That's a disgrace for football. That's a disgrace in life. That's a disgrace to society of this country. This entire referee group that you call the referee organization, whatever you call it, this booth review should be ashamed with themselves. This was not an incompletion. This was nothing but a catch. What else about this you need to know? To keep the call at what it is. If the guy is running the round for Miami at the 30-yard line in celebration, these refs come together and look at each other and decide, this is a touchdown. This is a touchdown. Okay. So what about the replay changes that? Because clearly the guy does not have the ball whenever you walk over there. So why do you think whenever you see a replay, they all go up for it? There are three guys right there, at least two for Virginia Tech, that have maroon gloves. That is four hands right there. And you can never tell, maroon and the color of a football look a lot alike. And especially when they're around each other, it's tough to tell. And guess what? If a ball, you cannot tell the difference. You cannot tell. So guess what? If you can't tell something in a replay, you keep it at what it is. You keep it at what it is. And guess what happened? They changed it. They looked at it for 5 minutes to 10. All the refs, all the former refs, all the announcers were glazing Cam Ward the entire game like a Krispy Kreme dozen. It was disgusting how much they love the guy. But even they realized, you know what, this may be not a catch for Miami. This is maybe not a catch. This should not, for Virginia Tech. This should be a touchdown. This is not an incompletion. This is a touchdown. Even they realize that. Miami should have not won this game. Miami sucked today, and they will for the entire year. They cannot win ACC games. They're talking about Miami's back. They're 7th ranked in the country. Cam Ward is a great player. We knew that at Washington State, but Miami overall cannot stop the run game. The floodgates were open, and they ran right through. They went right through. Number 33, Virginia Tech, had a field day running the ball. Everyone on Florida was getting, on Miami, was having a cramp, even though they play in this weather continuously. They had more cramps on their team than Virginia Tech did. This left side of the left tackle for Miami cannot block continuously. This guy, number 52 for Virginia Tech, wreaked havoc the entire game. He's one of the sack leaders, but he wreaked havoc the entire game. If this was not Cam Ward and we just threw someone out there like a Graham Mertz, this would have been 38-0. I mean 34-0. Something like that. The only reason they had something this entire game was because of how good Cam Ward is. Cam Ward is a Heisman contender. Cam Ward deserves whatever he can get. But this team is not going to make it far. And this team cannot beat a top 10 team in this country right now. They will not beat Penn State. They will not beat USC. They would definitely not beat my Vols and any other SEC team. Maybe a Missouri, but either way, they have a better defense than anything that Miami can put on a consistent basis. Tyler Barron, he's a former Tennessee guy. My gosh, can you stop faking these injuries? Can you not? And even then, y'all couldn't get a stop afterwards. Cam Ward had 3 turnovers, terrible turnovers. If it wasn't for a horrendous fake field goal, they would have had a 42-yard field goal for a guy who's perfect on the day. Would have been 3 for 3 on the day with 2 plus 50 yarders. I bet that field goal's going in. That should have been a catch either way. Here's an example. We have a Magic 8 ball right here. We're going to use this as an example since I have no other ball with me right here. So the ball is going up, right? Right here. They're fighting around for it. The gloves are here, but you cannot tell anything different. My white hand's right here. This is like a Miami hand right here. This ball is, they're right here. The maroon gloves are right up here. And he goes down with the ball. He goes down. And then after he falls, there's some movement afterwards. But we can't tell. Maybe he still has the ball. And maybe after he's on the ground for a moment, the guy applies the ball away. If you can look each other in the face as referees and come together, make a decision, while the Miami guy is running around in celebration, while the fireworks are firing up and the lights are flaring, and you can call that a touchdown, then what about that replay changes that? What told you to change that? Did New York change that? Did they need a Heisman moment from Cam Ward to be certified with a win? Shut up. No. Hokies have been through a lot this year. This is the best game they've produced. They played a complete game, and it sucks that their coach is pathetic in one-score games. He is 1-10 in his coaching career. He should have called timeouts early on in that moment. He got out of bounds backwards. That means the clock continues. That should have, early on that drive, that should have been a time to call timeout. You get an extra 30 seconds to save instead of wasting more 20 seconds when you have a minute to go in the game. It's ridiculous on Virginia Tech's part. But Virginia Tech should have won this game. He had the ball in his hands. That's a touchdown. Miami is not back. They are screwed. They're not like Texas. They're not like Tennessee. They are not back. This team will never win a title. This will not win a playoff game. They will get killed by Clemson, actually knows how to play defense and knows how to run the ball consistently, because the team doesn't know how to run the ball outside of the third quarter. And even then, they gave up on him because Cam Ward has to do everything. If you play your cards right, maybe he can do everything. But the more you put this guy in danger, maybe at one point he might accidentally get hurt because you keep using him every single play. You never build a run game consistently. The first half was filled with terrible run plays. You run it up the middle every single play. Outside of, you feel like a guy who can run, you feel like a quarterback that's a Heisman front runner right now would be able to give you chances to run the ball, because you could draw him away and let him go and let the guys go. But no, that's how bad their run game is. That's how bad it is. And they abandon it at all times. They abandon it and make Cam Ward make all the plays. And they're lucky enough they have a great defense. They have a great quarterback back there that can make all the plays. But wait until you play a team like Clemson in the ACC Championship, or a Louisville that has a pretty good dang defense and a quarterback that can make some plays. I'm not saying Virginia Tech did not have a quarterback that can make plays. He definitely did. They should have won this game. If this game was played in any other site with any other officiating crew, this should have been a touchdown. And also, let's not forget about early on that third quarter. And late in the third quarter, they called back a touchdown for a holding call that was just pancaking a guy cleanly to the ground. That should have been called a touchdown. What, did they later on get a touch on that drive? Yes, but there's no certification that at that point they would have had a 2nd and 19. That, oh yeah, they are going to score. Probably not. You wouldn't have thought that at the time until Miami held a guy on a go pattern and then finally called something against them. Finally, 2 touchdowns taken away from Virginia Tech today. Ridiculous work. Miami got bailed out. If Cam Ward wasn't on this team, Mari Cristobal would be gone. They would have lost to Florida. They would have lost to USF, and they would have surely lost this game. Mari Cristobal went up and out of there. He better give half of his contract to whatever he gets to Cam Ward for saving his butt every single week for his terrible plays defensively. You let Virginia Tech score 34 points. Vandy beat this team easier than you did. Rutgers did too. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with this Miami team? I don't know. Outside of Cam Ward, just amazing. And no one else can do a thing right now on the offense. Restrepo was something, but he's getting the ball from him the entire time. Cade Warmack is a grown man who should be on an AARP plan, still playing tight end. This is ridiculous. Should have been a touchdown. Still gonna make me mad. Great start to the week, though. Fun game. Really fun game. Terrible finish, though. Everyone knows that should have been a touchdown. There's nothing that can overrule it. Miami should drop in the rankings. Whatever Georgia or Bama is, no matter what happens, unless if it's a complete and utter blowout, better be higher than Miami. Because Miami stinks right now. Miami's back because they beat USF. Because they beat Florida. Okay? Back up for A&M beat Florida. You know who had a better competition against A&M than Florida? Bowling Green did better against A&M than Florida did. That's how bad Florida is. They made Mississippi State's offense look good. Toledo made it look terrible. Your best one on years against Florida or USF. Really? USF? Okay. And you got no one else in the ACC. Why do you struggle in these games? Makes no sense. Miami's pathetic. They will never be back until they find a defense, and they will not find it until they change his head coach right now, Mari Cristobal. He's a great recruiter, but he was the same thing at Oregon, but they kept choking in the big games. Last year, they should have lost to Georgia. They lost to Georgia Tech because of a terrible coaching decision. In the same situation tonight, night game after the fifth game of the year, should have lost this one. They got screwed over, but they got heavily bailed out by these refs. Good night, everybody.